It was her heavy breathing that woke me up. And I'm telling my kids, pray, pray, pray. I've cried, and I'm gonna cry some more.
On Wednesday, October 5th, 2022, a pastor and his wife were sleeping in their bed, and around 12:30 a.m., the pastor woke up and found his wife unresponsive. The pastor then shook his wife but got no response. She was then taken to the hospital where doctors found a bullet hole in her head. Lashunda Ellison, 50, from Decatur, Georgia, was a devoted wife, mother of 3, and First Lady. Her husband of 22 years, Pastor Ellison, had been the pastor at Temple of Faith Ministries in Decatur, Georgia since 2004. Lashunda was also a hairdresser for many, many years and built a bond with a lot of people. She had just celebrated her 50th birthday on October 2nd. As a First Lady, she was always by her husband's side. Many people knew her as a woman of God and called her an angel on earth. According to one of her daughters, she was someone that she wanted to be, someone she looked up to, and was a powerful woman of God, a strong woman, a mother who did anything and everything for her kids, a woman that loved her husband unconditionally, and a wonderful wife, and had a wonderful relationship with her husband that she admired. She also stated that she wanted to be just like her, the way she carried herself, the way she loved herself, the way she loved people, just the sweetest person you could ever meet. But on October 5th, everything changed. According to news reports, Pastor Ellison and his wife Lashunda Ellison were at home when one single bullet came through the back of their house and struck Mrs. Ellison in the head. According to Pastor Ellison, even though he was asleep right next to her, he never heard a gunshot, and it was her heavy breathing that woke him up. Ellison shook his wife but got no response. He then called his children to help. They turned her over in the bed, and that's when they saw blood everywhere. She was then taken to Grady Memorial Hospital, and Lashunda would lay in critical condition for 6 days, but on October 10th, she passed away from her injuries. The family did not find out where the bullets came from until they came back from the hospital, when they saw one bullet hole in the wall and went through the headboard into the top of Mrs. Ellison's head and stopped in her sinuses. The DeKalb County Police are still working to figure out where the bullet came from. There is a wooded area behind the home, but no leads to who is responsible.
Man, everything is gone. Everything. I haven't felt my heartbeat. And I don't know if God got that in protection mode, because wherever he was the night my wife got shot, and I'm not saying I don't trust God, but I don't know.
This is very tragic and traumatic. You dedicate your life to helping others, never meeting a stranger, always a shoulder to lean on, but one day you're at home, in your own bed, your place of peace, and you get shot out of nowhere, and no one knows what happened. It is beyond sad. Such a bright light dim way too soon.
You know, y'all, marriage is, to be said, to death do us part. I gave my wife this ring. I put it on her finger over 20-some years ago. And I never took it off. She took this ring off on Tuesday morning to go get an MRI and put it on the dresser. And I said, why you taking your ring out? You got somebody else at that job? She said, I just got an MRI, silly, stop playing. And that ring sat on the dresser up until this morning when we was told to come see the doctor. And I heard her say, grab my ring. I need y'all to understand, if y'all talking about marriage, it's not for the faint in heart. If y'all talking about marriage, it ain't just for sex. If you're talking about marriage, it's not just because you no longer want to be lonely. But if you're really talking about marriage, it is unto death do us part. And death it was that caused us to part. I love you, Michelle. Man, I love you. Thank you, Jack.
Please keep this family in your prayers as they go through this difficult time of trying to figure out what happened to her. This situation is almost like something out of a movie. Her husband had did a Facebook Live, and he went on there and he stated that the bullet entered right dead center, the middle of her head. Like, what would be the coincidence? Just sad. But Lashunda was laid to rest today, October 18th, in a beautiful homegoing celebration. She touched so many lives, and her beautiful humor and spirit will truly be missed. She was an inspiration to so many. So with that being said, remember, stay woke. Things change quickly.